having great preparation, starting strong, being physical, kind of setting that tempo early in the season. And so I think this year, having that extra preseason game, starting camp a little earlier is going to be helpful for us, and everybody getting on the same page, having a little extra game plan mentality for these extra preseason games. So we're excited about it. It's going to be a fun year, and we got to get better. We got some improvements. We're not where we need to be right now, but I'm excited about that challenge to see how far we can get better in these next few weeks.
Coming off his worst pro season since his rookie year, Giants quarterback Eli Manning has been pretty optimistic at training camp, as you saw. This week, he says his ankle is 100%. We welcome in our NFL analyst, Antonio Pierce. You were at camp all day yesterday. Good job.
It was hot.
It seemed to be hot.
I like the AC a little better. I like
okay.
the compressor.
Well, you're in studio, so we're going to put Eli on the hook. How well do you expect he will do this season?
I think he'll bounce back, but let's just be matter of fact about it. Eli's always going to throw between 15 and 18 interceptions. That's who he's been throughout his career. Also, let's not overlook the fact that the offensive line last year was terrible. He had 0 running game. He had second-year players make a ton of mistakes at the wide receiver position, guys running the wrong routes, a lot of communication errors. So a lot of those interceptions, granted, he threw them, but they weren't totally his fault. Watching him yesterday, though, the ankle looks right. Yeah. So I would echo those statements that he's 100%. What I do like, though, is that the new scheme, the West Coast offense that they had, the ball's coming out quick. You saw a lot of 3-step, 5-step drops yesterday, a lot of slant, a lot of bubble screens. He has the playmakers and the guys at the wide receiver position that can make this offense work, because all you got to do is get them the ball, and they get you a little yak, right? They can run after the catch. A lot of speedy receivers. So I do think he bounces back. The only reason I think he doesn't have a solid or better year, it might be similar to last year, is because of the O-line. They're spotty. I mean, they're trying their best to try to mix, match the right guys in the right position, young. I mean, I've never seen that O-line look the way they look, even today or yesterday.
Okay, before Stephen A. jumps in, quick thought. Okay, you said 15 to 18 interceptions. It's just going to happen. So do you consider him a high mistake quarterback? I mean, why is that? Does he take too many risks? Is he?
He does take risks. He takes challenges. I mean, he's gonna go there and he's gonna push the envelope a little bit. I think in this offense, though, the ball is not going to travel as far down the field. I don't think you'll see a lot of those deeper throws that you've seen that you saw with Kevin Gilbride in his offense.
All right, Stephen A.
Well, here's my issue. It is that offensive line. Snead just retired because he had injuries that were just too much to overcome, but that's a devastating loss for them. We've got Will Beatty, who wasn't completely healthy. He had leg and knee injuries. You've got J.D. Walton, who's a guy that hadn't played in the last 2 seasons. Now, you picked up this dude, Schwartz, and that's a good deal, Jeff Schwartz, and we understand what he's capable of doing. But at the same time, it's still piecemealing an offensive line together. When you combine that with the absence of a running game, you got a problem. Now, they picked up Rashad Jennings, and you like him. We like him, all right? David Wilson can ball, but the problem is he had fumbleitis, couldn't hold on to the football. That earned himself in Tom Coughlin's doghouse. You know, I look at it, and to me, Antonio, Skip, what resonates with me is not the offensive line, not the running game, but the combination of those two being huge question marks leads me to believe that the Giants are going to be in some trouble. It's not an accident. They've had, 9, 10, 9, 9, and 7 wins over the last 5 seasons. They went to the Super Bowl one year in 2011. They won the Super Bowl. The next year they won 10 games but missed the playoffs. But I look at them as a team that missed the playoffs in 4 of the last 5 seasons, and we're continuously talking about some of the same old problems. This is not the first season we've been talking about the offensive line. This is not the first season we've been talking about the absence of a running game. It's been on Eli Manning, because Eli Manning understands that if he doesn't appear a bit risque and try to make things happen, what are they going to do? What are they going to have to rely upon? You got the 8th-ranked defense in the NFL last year. For all the troubles that the Giants had, starting off 0-6, they were still the 8th-ranked defense. They brought back Beeson, but now he's hurt. Okay, their secondary is still a question mark, but I like the pickup of Thurman and Demps and those boys. I like that. But in the end, I'm just looking at it and I'm saying, look, this is about their offense. And when I think about their offense, that offensive line, even though you got Odell Beckham Jr. out of LSU, you drafted him. You still got Ruben Randall there. You got Victor Cruz there. I like that. Still a question at the tight end spot, question at the offensive line, question with your running game means that you're going to be out on the outside looking in the NFC East. That's just the way that I see it.
You buying?
They're going to struggle this year.
Okay.
I do think so.
Yet,
that means he's buying.
Yeah, he's buying. I saw a quote, I can't remember if I heard it with you guys on SportsCenter or read it, but Antrell Roll said it's as talented a team as he's ever been on before. And I agree with what Stephen A. just said about the secondary. When you add Demps and DRC and Walter Thurman to Antrell, that's pretty good. I mean, they'll be pretty good in the secondary. Now what? What else? Do you see? I don't see the rest of it.
I mean, the defensive line is, there's guys there. There's a lot of quantity, but not quality guys. And when I look at that roster, I'm struggling to find out who this guy is. What's his stats? I mean, career starts, what really history about these players. And I had trouble even with that yesterday.
So I want to reemphasize the gravity of what we just heard from a New York Giants fan and Stephen A. Smith and a man who won a Super Bowl ring with Eli Manning and company in Antonio. And both are saying, going to have a rough time this year. It's going to be a struggle. Okay, I respect that, and I agree with it, because even though you can, these aren't excuses. These are valid excuses for Eli last year. They're 29th in rushing, obviously. The offensive line was starting to crumble last year. But he is a high-mistake player to me, but he has that incredible switch that he can throw. I've never seen anything like this before. When you can lead the NFL in interceptions 3 times in your career, this will be his 11th year as he goes on age 34. He turns 34 in early January. But he's flipped the switch each time after awful years and come back with maybe not great total years, but great playoff runs, right? So I'm sure a lot of Giants fans are saying, oh, thank you. Here it comes. It's time for Eli to do it again. But as he gets older, and he does have an ankle surgery, though he looks 100% to you, at some point, he's just going to – his diminishing skills will catch up, and he won't have the great bounce back, right?
I think the key, when the Giants have won and have been successful, it's always been a running game there.
Okay.
And solid and powerful offensive line play.
You got it.
And right now, they don't have either one. They're trying to find it. They're trying to find it, and we don't know.
Rashad Jennings is a player to me.
They have a hole to run to.
You got a hole to run to. I understand, but I like the addition of him if he can find any daylight anywhere.
They have the weapons. Again, all those pieces got to come together. And also, let's not forget about this. New offensive coordinator. New terminology, communication. Guys got to mesh together.
McAdoo, age 37, who's never called a play in his life because he was under McCarthy at Green Bay, and McCarthy called the plays, right?
But I'll tell you what, he has changed a little bit of the culture and the practice scheduling of the Giants. They had an up-tempo, practice, pre-practice yesterday where they went through about 25 plays in 10 minutes. They were flying through it.
Okay.
And Eli did mention he was excited about that.
That's real nice. That's real cute. But it don't mean that it doesn't amount to a hill of beans. And here's why.
For now.
You're wrong.
You got this kid, Kellen Davis from Seattle, as a tight end. You're hoping that he can give you something. We don't know what we're going to get. Think about this, y'all. And Antonio, I know that you're agreeing with me without saying so. But let's really highlight the magnitude from somebody that salivated being an elite defensive player. If you were going against a team that had 3 issues at the running game, issue with your offensive line, issue at the tight end spot, combined with a quarterback who takes chances and is fresh off of leading the league in interceptions, throwing 27 last season, how would you feel about going against that offense?
I'm bringing the house. I'm blitzing them every play.
There you go. And that's what I'm saying. Because it's like, Skip, we know what the receivers can do. We know what Rashad can do if he finds daylight. But if there's a question mark as to whether he can find daylight, whether they can protect the quarterback, and whether the tight end can produce for you, because you can dip it, you can throw it short, you can use it for short yardage purposes. If you've got questions at all 3, how are you going to make noise as an offense?
You're not. Thank you very much.
Silence.
End of story.
Silence. Antrell Roll, to his point, said it's going to be a very special group we have here, but you admit they will struggle.
The secondary is a special group.
It is.
That's it. That's the only special group.
You need another 40-something guys to help out.
All right. Antonio Pierce, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Good work yesterday. Coming up next.
Good work today.
Yeah, well, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay.
First take.
Big 12 commissioner highlights cheating in the NCAA, but what is the solution? The gentleman will discuss.